On the eve of his grandmother's passing just a year ago, a text comes in from a friend. David turns his phone off since he still won't allow himself to see those words. He stares blankly at her name on the gravestone, Nora Redwood, and appears lost in thought. I wish you were here. Things feel so out of balance now. I can't shake the feeling that I'm floating in space, like nothing I do really matters anymore. You helped raise me, made me who I am, the most fearless woman I've ever known. I saw the light in your eyes in the hospital bed for only a moment. Then I watched it go out. Sometimes I think you're giving me signs, but then wonder if it's only my fucked up way of coping just to get through the day. David sits alone by his grandmother's grave for hours. In that time, he sees a cardinal fly by and land on 3 nearby tombstones. It perches on the last and watches him from a distance for as long as he sits there. He says his goodbyes, and when he looks up, the cardinal is gone. At home, David goes through the motions of putting up Christmas decorations, even though he doesn't feel like there's much to celebrate. The only thing that masks the emptiness is alcohol, but he knows it's a temporary escape. Her Sinatra holiday album plays in the background. Nostalgia starts setting in, so he takes a sip. There's some old photos mixed in with the decorations. He can't believe he still has these. One of David dressed like an elf, sitting next to her. It says, "To my favorite grandson, Xmas 93 on the back. Their inside joke since he was her only grandson. He reaches for the next ornament and grabs an old sleigh bell she had given him. It's so tarnished by time now. David hangs it from the mantle and makes his way to the bedroom before he passes out, lost in his head again. In the middle of the night, David is awakened by a faint chime of the bell. His wife, Hannah, is still asleep next to him, so he wonders what could be making the sound. He hears it again, and cautiously heads downstairs to check it out. After searching through the house, David doesn't find anything unusual. The bell is on the floor in the living room, but he figures it must have slipped off the mantle and rolled around. He picks it up and secures it back in place. That hour of the night has become familiar to David. It's the only time he's able to feel a little at ease, alone with his thoughts. He switches on the Christmas lights in the room to light up the dark and pours a drink. When the sadness creeps back in, the only thing he can think to do is talk to her. I'm afraid at times that I don't know how to go on. Why am I so consumed by this? Most people seem perfectly adjusted by now, but I'm just not. With his somber words, the lights on the trees slightly flicker. David hardly notices as he sips his bourbon. He shudders as he feels a breeze pass by. The record player crackles and scratches back on. I'll Be Home for Christmas plays at an eerily reduced speed, then catches up to normal time. David leaps up and removes the needle from the record. He rubs his eyes and hears the bell bang down on the floor as it rolls over to his feet. What the hell is going on? Is this you? It can't be. If so, why can't I see you? Just once to know you're still there. Say something, please. David hears nothing but silence. I'm losing my hold on what's real. I wasn't prepared for it to be this hard. David crashes onto the couch and slams his glass down on the table beside him. He grips his head with his hands in torment. How am I supposed to continue walking around living this way? I know it can never be like it was before. I just need to know you're still with me. David takes another swig of his drink to settle his nerves. I'm not sure what else to say except thank you. Thank you for protecting me, teaching me, always making me laugh, and for making me the person that I've become. David feels some weight lift from his mind as his insomnia fades and he finally allows himself to fall back asleep. The next morning, David tells Hannah about what happened and asks how she didn't wake up from the commotion. She says she never heard a thing all night, that she found him asleep on the couch and brushes it off as an elaborate dream. As she's telling him this, Hannah gets distracted by a cardinal that lands on the windowsill outside of their kitchen. David mentions seeing one similar at the cemetery the day before. Well, maybe it's her way of keeping an eye on you, she says with a reassuring smile. They watch the cardinal for a few minutes before it flies away. Then Hannah reminds David of the remembrance ceremony starting soon. This won't be an easy day, but for some reason he feels a little better in this moment. Recovery from this deep loss has begun for David, but he is still not ready to see. He's unaware that Nora is standing there in the room as he and Hannah walk away. She was always there with him, just as in life, and always would be.